What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I am here today with the review for Love Out the Lockup. This is season 3. I think this is episode number 8, and it's the mid-season finale, and it's also titled Love Don't Cost a Ring. So, you guys, this was a 2-hour episode. I was expecting for it to probably be, 1 hour. They should go off, and then next hour shows, nope, they ran all the way through. So you guys, this might be a lengthy video, I don't know, but without further ado, let's go ahead and just talk about this episode review. All right, you guys, so Love Out the Lockup will be back in October because, next week, Life After Lockup starts up, and it's a 4-week event. So that'll go into October when this show returns. So let's open up the episode. We'll start by talking about Lindsay and Scott. So, Scott, he's at home and he gets a phone call from Lindsay and she's letting him know that she'll be home. I'm like, oh, wow. And I noticed something. I'm like, I wonder how far, it's probably like early March, maybe April when this stuff happened, because if you notice with Scott, he was recording himself. There were no producers around. So he was recording himself on his phone. And then he had a camera, like if you notice in the back behind him, there was like a tripod set up, maybe like a, what's those cameras called? A GoPro. So it looked like the GoPro was behind him and he was using his cell phone to film. So I'm like, this must have been at the height of, COVID. So Lindsay, like I said, she's coming home. But when she's coming home, she's not going to the halfway house. She's going to be on, home confinement with Scott. And I think she's going to have an ankle monitor on, everything like that. So Lindsay calls her daughter, tells her that she's coming home. That grandmother, listen to the grandma talk. Grandma's like, you know what? She can, once you quarantine for the 14 days, she'll come stay with you. Now, we don't know what's going to go on with her school, but, once we know she's not going back to school or not, she's coming to stay with you. I'm like, grandma is ready to get rid of that granddaughter. I know she probably loves her, but grandma is ready to live her life. So Lindsay, I always figured Lindsay was nothing but a big ass scammer. So Lindsay's talking about, Scott doesn't know that before him, she had other boyfriends who were older. And the reason that she was with them was because they had money and they did things for her. So then we do see Scott when he went to pick Lindsay up in the second episode, I think second half of the episode. Lindsay is completely ungrateful. She's talking about the fact that he did not bring the limo to pick her up. And I'm like, well, when he thought you were getting out the first time, he did bring the limo, but what happened? You got your ass in trouble and you stayed in jail a little bit longer. It's just the entitlement thing with her, because then they got to the house. Now, I will say the house did look a hot ass mess, but Lindsay is being so entitled, so demanding. And I'm like, you ain't got a job the first, but you sitting here making all these demands for Scott to do this, do that, do that. Then she's like, I was supposed to come home to Disneyland, but instead I'm coming home to the county fair. At least she got somewhere to come home to. Like, I don't know how she's complaining. She's talking about, he said, at least you got a roof over your head. And I'm like, exactly, you got a roof over your head. She said, well, I had a roof over my head in prison. The difference is the roof over your head in prison, you were behind bars. You were not, you're still not free to do what you want to do, but you were behind bars. You had to, you went to sleep when someone told you to go to sleep. You ate when someone told you to eat. You took a piss and shit when somebody told you to do that stuff. Took a shower when someone told you to do that. But with Scott, he's not telling you to do anything. And yeah, with Lindsay, I would have kicked her ass out of that house. God, couldn't be me. And then, when she saw him at the airport, she kissed him on them lips. I know people said that that's an allergic reaction, but how long did the allergic reaction last? Because it lasted a long ass time. But let's move on, because she was one person that pissed me off in this episode, and I'm about to talk about the next person that pissed me off in this episode. All right, you guys, next, let's talk about Destiny and Shawn. Whew. Destiny and Shawn, they are a special group of stupid. Both of them are. So Destiny, she's on her way home. And you guys remember, in the last week's episode, she went to that store, that furniture store, and tried to purchase, some furniture. It was $3,000 worth of furniture. the fuck you buying? Whatever. So like I said, she's upset about the card being declined. Now Shawn, however, is being very nonchalant, saying he doesn't know why the card declined. But she's saying that they said at the store that the card was declined because the card issuer canceled it. Again, he says he doesn't know anything about it. He said he didn't call the bank. She said, so you didn't have the number? You couldn't Google it? He said you had the card. And then he said at one point, it may have been a wrong pin. How many fucking cards do you have, sir? That's the next question that I have. Now, he's also talking to them about their relationship. He's talking about the fact that, he was seeing someone else before he got with her, and vice versa with her. She said she didn't know about that, and then she's been a total hypocrite. I'm like, but you just said to us in your interview with the producers that you had girlfriends while you were in prison, and you're upset at him, and then you just flirted with the saleswoman at the store. So you're being a total hypocrite, Destiny. I don't understand her. Then I didn't understand his dumb fool. So this fool, he took it upon himself. Him and his friend Hector, they went shopping. He is going to go buy Destiny a ring. I was with Hector. Why don't you just buy her? He said buy her some handcuffs. That's what she's used to. I said, oh. Hector is not feeling her. And rightfully so. I mean, I really feel like Destiny is conning Shawn. And honestly, I don't really care that she is conning him because he deserves it. Through and through, I just feel like he deserves it. But, Hector tells him, like, I don't agree that what you're doing is I think you're making a huge mistake. And I'm like, thank you. At least someone's saying it. So then he asked him, well, what does Kelly feel about this? He was like, well, Kelly says that as long as the whore is around, he wants to see his kids. So I'm like, so you're willing to say fuck your kids for this woman that you don't really know like that, who is using you? And Hector also asked him how much money has he spent on her and how much is he looking to spend for this ring. He said $2,000. I'm like, damn, that's a lot of money for a ring for a woman that is ungrateful as fuck. But he said he spent about $50,000 on her. So I'm like, wait a minute. So you spent $50,000 on her, and then his bail is another $50,000. So you spent $100,000 on this woman that you had never met. Shawn is dumb as shit. Literally dumb as shit. Like, I just don't understand him. Like, all that money that you spent on this girl, you can spend it on your kids. Like, I don't blame Kelly for being upset, but I do blame Kelly for having 6 kids with this dumb fuck. So then, I finally realized in this episode why Destiny is not allowed to have a checking account or savings account or anything. When she came back home, she had been a Victoria's Secret and everything, and Shawn was like, "How much did that cost?" And then he started looking at his statement, 200 here, 300 there. Then she was taking money out to go to the casino. He was like, "What do you have? You don't have anything to show for going to the casino, spending this much money?" She says, "My happiness." I'm like, "Girl, you can't buy shit with your fucking happiness." But again, like I said, I don't 100%. I don't feel bad at all for Shawn. Shawn is getting what he deserves. I don't even feel bad for Kelly either. The people that I feel most bad for is his 6 kids. Now I know he said he got money aside for his kids, but even still, if you got money aside for your kids, the money that you spent on Destiny is money that you could have put towards your kids' savings. Put a savings account aside for your kids for college, their first car, whatever. What a fucking dumbass. Like, I don't feel bad at all for him. Like, I so don't. I so do not feel bad for him. He's getting played, and I really don't give a fuck. So, speaking of Kelly, so when he was going off on her, going off about how much she was spending, she said, "Okay, well, I'm not going anywhere today. I'm gonna stay at home." She said, "So can you blow up the inflatable unicorn?" He says, "Cool, he'll blow it up." So he goes outside to blow up the unicorn, and while he's blowing up the unicorn, Kelly calls, and I don't know what the fuck was wrong with Destiny. Destiny flipped out on him about Kelly. I've been on the phone with Kelly that he shouldn't be talking to her. I'm like, they got 6 kids together. Even if they had one child together, she's gonna be a part of his life no matter what. And she's talking about she wants a plane ticket home. I'm like, ooh, Shawn, you about to lose that money, buddy. Everybody, I mean, people are warning you, you're gonna lose that money. You're gonna lose that money. She is going to leave you. Like, God. And then she hit the man. I'm like, dude, that is his ex his ex-girlfriend, the mother of his 6 kids. So he's not supposed to have any kind of communication with the mother of his kids. You're an idiot, Destiny. Period. Point blank. But let's move on. All right, guys. Next up, Christiana and John. So we see John and Christiana. So she's leaving her mom, visiting her mom. Now, here's the thing that's throwing me for a loop. So people still do actual physical app, like you go to a store and ask them for an application. Now, I know you can go to a store and you can ask them, are you guys hiring? And I'll say, yeah, we're hiring. Go over to the computer right over there and fill out your application. And then, the manager will pull it. But I had no idea people were still doing hand applications. I had no idea. Like, I was like, wow, people really still write on app. I mean, it's the digital age, but I mean, hey. Well, I guess so. Maybe for like mom and pop places who are not who don't use technology. So I guess so. So John, the scammer that he is, he is taking Christiana out to lunch. Speaking of lunch, I want to go back to a few episodes because I thought about it and I never mentioned it in the video. But you guys remember the episode when he took her mama out to eat? Where did he take her? Because this looked like the same place that they went. This looked like the same place. They never got their food. I'm glad they didn't, because the food that they had in that episode with him and her mom, that shit looked nasty. I didn't know what the fuck that shit was. They didn't get their food, like I said. And the reason why they didn't get their food is because Christiana and John were followed by, I guess, maybe the PO, whoever runs the halfway house. So they told her, you got to come with us. He's like, okay, we'll get in the car. She said, they were like, not with you. She's riding with us. So then, and that's my whole thing with John. I know Christiana said that, she feels like she'll be on the right path with John. But since you got out of jail, John, one, made you late to the halfway house. And now this. My problem with John is fucking selfish. That's all it is. It's all about John. I don't think John really cares that much about Christiana like he says he does. It's all about John. Since she got out of jail, everything has been about him, not about her. And that's why I think he's selfish. So we found out that she got a ticket. I'm just confused, like, damn. Because he's talking about they haven't consummated the marriage. I'm not judging the Native American wedding. I am judging that ugly ass jacket he has on, and I'm judging the fact that I don't even know if this marriage is legal, because he's like, I'm her husband. Are you legally her husband? You don't have a marriage license, or do you? Because I mean, we know you're a con artist, so you might have an illegal marriage license, but that's neither here nor there. Let's move on. Oh my God, you guys. Next up is Koiline and Chevelle. So, the welcome home party. I'm just looking at that ugly ass wig that she had on her head. It was flat with her moon face shaped ass. So they having a good time. So Chevelle tells, Koiline to follow her and close his eyes. So they go outside, and outside is that truck that she bought for him. I'm like, you are so fucking stupid. And then, to prove just how stupid she is, to prove just how dumb she fucking is, this dude don't even have a fucking driver's license. I'm like, I figured he didn't have a driver's license. Does he even know how to drive? Why did you buy him a car? Where is he gonna go? I mean, he doesn't have a job. The only thing I can see is he's probably gonna go see his probation officer. So you look like you look really stupid behind this dude. Like, you look retarded as fuck, Chevelle. So stupid. Now her cousin D-Mark, he's still not feeling it, and I understand where he's coming from. Like, y'all don't really know each other. This is y'all first time literally being around each other for an extended period of time. Yes, you might went and visit him in prison, but that's for a few hours. You guys have written each other. You guys have had phone conversations, but nothing to this extent. Like, I understood everybody's point. So Koiline's mom, she's talking to Chevelle's mama. And they, I thought for a minute that they were both on the same page about this situation, because they both felt like it's kind of weird that she bought him a car. But Koiline's mama feels that, Chevelle is trying to buy his affection. And Chevelle's mama thinks that Koiline is using her. She feels that Koiline asked her to buy him this truck. I'm like, how did you get that? Or where did you get that from? He looked surprised when he was surprised to see it. So I don't know how you got the fact that he asked her to buy that. I didn't understand that part. That I didn't get. Did not get that part, however. So Mama's was about to come to blows at that point. Now I do agree with Koiline's mom. I do agree with her. That's like hella weird. Why would you buy him a truck? Why would you do that? And I agree with Chevelle's mama. She could have used that money. Now she can't buy a house with no $5,000, but she could have put a down payment on the house. She could have done a lot of stuff for her and her daughter. But here you are buying a fucking truck for him. Lord, that's so stupid. And, Chevelle's mama asked Koiline's mama, why do you think that she's trying to buy him? Hello, this party. She paid for it. That truck, she paid for it. Who else paid for the shit? Not him. He ain't got no job. He just got out of jail. So then we saw D-Mark and, Koiline talking. D-Mark is just trying to figure out what's going on. What's up, Koiline? Are you the type of person, are you going to be the one that's going to stick it out through the bad times and the good times with my cousin, or are you just here for, just to get shit from her and then dip? Like, that's what he's trying to figure out. What you gonna do? What's your intentions? And then we also saw that, I can't pronounce this as her name, Quinandria, whatever the hell her name is. She was talking to Chevelle. Now, I will give Chevelle one thing that she said that made sense. He can get in trouble wherever he goes. That's true. And the sister makes some truly good points. Her brother went to jail when he was 17 years old. Yes, and Chevelle said, well, he's a grown ass man. Yes, he's a grown man, but like the sister said, physically, yes, he's grown, but mentally, he's still 17. And she said, if something happens to her brother, it's gonna be between them and her and those two. But she doesn't have an issue with, Chevelle, which I don't think anybody should have an issue with Chevelle. I just don't think Chevelle is like literally thinking things through, because this is stupid. Like I said, why buy him a car? He just got out of jail. This party, cool. I don't have no problem with the party. I don't have no problem with that. But you talk about you want to be married within 2 years or so. That's unrealistic, Chevelle. Nothing that you are talking about is realistic at all. I don't get how she doesn't see that. Like, nothing you're talking about is realistic. Like the sister said, yes, he's 29. Physically, he's 29. Mentally, he's still 17. And I don't know why sisters don't see that. But let's move on, because I'm tired of talking about her dumb ass and that flat ass wig. All right, you guys, next let's discuss Maurice and Jessica, these two dumbass fools. So they've made it to Vegas. They're at, his parents' house. He's meeting his parents-in-law. I'm like, dude, just say in-laws. Or my mother and father-in-law. But your parents-in-law? Okay. Just say your in-laws. But like I said, these fools. So they knock on the door. They open the door. Mama opens the door. They looked a little apprehensive at first when they saw him. And I'm not going to sit here and say that the people are racist, because I don't want to say that. I don't feel that they are. I just don't feel like they're 100%. I don't feel like any of them are 100% comfortable around black people. And that's all I'm going to say with that one. Maurice was acting like a nigga who ain't never had shit. Oh, this is nice. Which the house was nice. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the house wasn't nice. Nice ass house. But I mean, Maurice, when you go with somebody, and he kept talking about, ooh, this felt like my house. Mama and daddy, especially daddy looked like, this is not your house, motherfucker. This is not your house. And, prior to going to the parents' house, Jessica and Maurice did discuss not telling the parents that they were there and they're not supposed to be there because of the parole situation. But Maurice let it slip. I'm like, you big dumbass. And rightfully so, mom and daddy felt some type of way because and I don't get how Jessica doesn't see it. Maybe Jessica's elevator just don't go to the top floor because you do realize that if you get caught, which you're on camera doing it, like if you get caught, you're in as much trouble as he is, but he's in more trouble because he violated his parole. But you're going to be in just as much trouble as he is, and I don't get how she didn't see that. Looking dumb as fuck. So then they were talking about his cousin's house, and they were talking about when he said that the cousins had roaches. I'm like, oh my god, why? Now the parents did tell them that they need to follow the rules when it comes to this parole situation, and they were like, well, how long could it take? He said the longest could be 60 days. So then the mama was talking, and I'm gonna say I hope it's not, because I felt some apprehension with him, but I'm gonna say I just hope it wasn't because he's black. I'm gonna say I hope it's because of him being a felon. Like, I mean, I would feel some type of way if somebody in my family brought home a felon. I'm like, oh, no, I wouldn't. Actually, no, I really wouldn't, because I mean, I have some in my family, so I wouldn't feel no type of way if somebody brought home someone that was a felon. I'm like, oh. Now, if you tell me that they went to jail for murder, I'm like, ah. If you say that they went to jail for murder, I'm just gonna be like, no, you gotta keep them away from me. Or attempted murder or anything like that, I'm just gonna be like, yeah. Now, if you went to jail for drugs or robbery or theft, now if you went to jail for robbing a bank or something like that, I'm like, okay, I ain't got nothing against you. Now, if you rob people and you tie them up, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be around you because I don't trust you like that, but. You did your time. I just don't. You just got to prove to me that you're on the up and up. Just saying. Now, when the daddy was talking to, because the daddy told him, let's go outside and have a conversation. When he was talking about his house and the stuff that he's done, I'm like, daddy is worried about a bunch of niggas coming to his house and stealing some shit. But I guess it went well because, he talking about that he doesn't have a son. And he hopes that, he and Maurice can have a father-son relationship where they do stuff around the house, XYZ. I don't really give a shit. Let's move on. Whoo, Heather and Dylan. They are, now here's the thing with Heather and Dylan that I have a big problem with WeTV about. Y'all brought them on one episode before the mid-season finale. How many more, going into the second half of the season, how many more episodes are there? Like, that's the only thing about Heather and Dylan that I feel some type of way about. So we see Heather. Heather is getting ready to go pick up Dylan from jail. She's getting herself, ready. Now, no shade at all, but Heather just gives me all types of meth addict vibes, and hard meth addict at that. Now, I do feel bad for Heather because Heather did, tell us that, her stepfather said some stuff to her mom that she didn't necessarily think was respectful or that she didn't like. And she said something to him, and then they sent her away to, like, I guess, like a boarding, not necessarily a boarding school, but a behavioral school. And she got raped at 14 there. I'm like, damn, that's fucked up. Like, that is really fucked up. Fuck her mama and her stepdaddy. So we see her when she gets to the prison. And, Heather is an interesting case. I will definitely say that much. She's definitely interesting. So, Dylan comes out and, she tells him, run to me. And then she turns around and shakes her ass at him. I couldn't do nothing but laugh at that shit. So she tells him to run to her. She runs to him. And I mean, she kicked her flip-flops off and ran and jumped in his arms. So then, Dylan tells us in his interview about his, he's been arrested. He's been in jail, 34 times? I'm like, damn. And you're not even 30 yourself. Jesus Christ. He said he felt like the last time he went to jail, I guess this time where he's been in prison this whole time, that he felt like he was set up. Maybe, maybe not. So he tells us how creepy Heather really is, that she got his name tattooed on him in different languages. I'm like, so that wasn't a red flag to you to run the fuck away when she came to the prison each time with your name tattooed on her? That wasn't a red flag? Okay. Now here's the question. Here's the $1,000,000 question that I do have. So that little 30-second blurb that they showed, we saw them at the car wash, and he said something about fuck them like a nigga that just got out of jail. I don't know how to feel about him saying the word nigga, because I don't know if he's black or if I don't know what he is, if he's mixed or what. I don't know how to feel about him saying nigga. Can somebody tell me in the comment section if y'all know if he's black or what? Like, I just don't know how to feel about him saying nigga. But that wraps it up for Dylan and what's her name? Heather. Let's move on. All right, you guys, and then to wrap up the episode, Shonda and Tyrese. Tyrese. I really hope that you burned that tacky ass, ugly ass suit when you got home, because that shit is just ugly as the fuck. So we see him and he's taking her back to the bus station so this way she can get to Kansas City. So, they both talking. Now, they're talking about how they can see a future with each other, and I'm like, really? Really? Because I'm looking at Shonda's body language, and Shonda's body language is not saying that she wants to be with Tyrese long term. And then in her interview with the producers, she was talking about the fact that he has 3 kids, and one of them is her age, and that's just weird to her. I'm like, yeah, Shonda, we kind of figured that as well. That it's very weird that you and his son are the same age. Like, I just don't feel like Shonda wants to be with Tyrese long term. You can't pay me $1,000,000 to believe that. I feel like by the time we get to the second half of the season, I feel like they're going to be broken up, or she's going to be ready to break up with him. So, before she leaves, she asked him for some money. And, he's like, damn, I don't want to give it to you right out here. I'm like, exactly. Why would you want, you're in the open. Like, don't let people see you count your money. Pull him to the side and say, yo, what's up with the money? He gave her $200 and her face lit up. I'm like, see, that's all she's about is money. And I don't see how Tyrese dumbass don't say that he's getting played. Like, bruh, you getting played. I don't think you got as much money as you want us to believe you got. But whatever little bit of money you got, homegirl over here is running a scam on you. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Homegirl is running a scam on ooh. So then we see Tyrese, he's back at home. And, he calls her and it goes straight to voicemail. I'm like, exactly, Tyrese. Like, how don't you see this? When people get what they want from you and they don't have a need for you anymore, they dump you like a bad habit. And I feel like that's what's going to happen. She's going to dump you. So then his son, Lil Ty, comes over. And the son is telling him once again, he just felt like that girl is using him. I'm like, thank you. I don't know how your dad, I really don't know how his daddy don't see it. He asked him how much money did he give him. Now, I'll give Tyrese this. It ain't none of your son's business how much money you gave her. But I'm thinking. I know Tyrese has been to visit. Okay, so yeah. Tyrese has been to visit Shonda, but he's only known her for what, 3 months maybe? Y'all are stupid as hell. And Tyrese is extra stupid. Because I feel like Tyrese knows that he's getting played, but I feel like Tyrese don't want to admit it or don't want to see it for what it is. But bruh, man, you're getting played. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. She is playing you for a joke. Like playing the shit out of your old ass. But you guys, that wraps up this episode review of Love After Lockup. Now they did show a few minute clip of Life After Lockup, which premieres next week, 4-part event. They showed Angela and they showed who else did they show in that blurb, in that little thing? Michael, Megan, and dumbass Maria, old dumbass Maria. And then that fool turned on that shower when she asked him what was he doing. Y'all, we're going to have an interesting time with that 4-part series with Life After Lockup. But you guys, until the next one, you guys do me a solid favor. First, like this video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button so you guys are aware when I drop anything else. Share this video. And until the next one, do me a solid. Like I always say, stay safe, Take care of yourselves. Stay hydrated, and I will see you guys in the next one. Actually, I'll see you guys tomorrow for P-Valley season finale. And then also Power Book 2 premieres. I don't even know if I want to watch that bullshit. I know I don't want to review it. I'm probably not going to review it. I don't even know if I'm going to watch it. But I'll see you guys later.